Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning and welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. No, I'm not in an art gallery. I'm actually on my staycation with the lovely Mona Lisa smiling over me. Well, obviously not the real Mona Lisa, but here you go. So welcome to this week's Monday Motivation. This week's Monday Motivation is all about momentum, forward momentum, and how you use that to motivate yourself. Now, this was such an interesting topic to pull together because there are so many elements, so many facets to this. I found it hard to pick just five, but five I will. So first off, why might you even need some sort of forward momentum? Well, quite often we can get into doing something and maybe looking at a project or a plan or looking at achieving something. And it's very, very easy to start to let other people kind of dictate how that's going to be. In personal development terms, we call that kind of giving our power away or resting on things outside of ourselves to move that forward. So let me explain, in fact, rather than explain, let me help you to identify where in the spectrum you are on that. So then, hey up! It's Ian. Morning, Ian. Morning, Alan. Morning, Ivona. Woo, we've got quite a few on this morning. So let me explain what that might feel like or what that might look like if you are putting kind of, your efforts, if you like, outside of yourself. So in order to get forward momentum, you would have already identified that there is a thing that you're wanting to achieve. Now, in certain realms of development, people might say, oh, but if you keep going for something, you'll never get there or whatever that thing is. And this is not what I mean at all. What I'm talking about right here is when you have a goal, a dream, a desire, a plan. And this could work for you whether you are a stay-at-home parent, whether you are, a bigwig in a corporate setting, whether you are a business owner, whether you have staff within your business or it's you within your business and you only. It could be things like tax returns. It could be things like getting a project done. It could be things like growing your business. It could be things like growing your team. It could be your next promotion. When we are in this place of the forward momentum, there are various factors that hi Faye, morning Faye. There are various factors that are very specific to us for the thing to be achieved, the dream, the desire, the plan, the ambition, or there are certain factors that affect someone else. So for example, in order for you to be promoted at work, you may be thinking, well, they need to have the position and everything else like that. But there's no point dwelling in the outside stuff, only what you can do to make the difference. And this is a bit of a flip of a switch for some people because, in our society, we have been conditioned to put the emphasis on our environment. The most popular ones are, yeah, but have you seen the new president and what he's doing? We haven't got a cat in hell's chance. Oh, well, there is a recession. It's been the worst one for X amount of years. Oh, well, the people that I really want to work with, which is what I hear a lot of my clients say, maybe not quite in this way, but, a lot of the clients and the people that I really want to work with, they don't really have the money. So then the client goes off and picks a genre of people that they don't resonate with and they can't help. All of these different things we hear. Well, in my family, it's not the done thing. Or, well, before I go ahead with that, I'm going to really have to talk to X about it, see what they think. Well, if it's your think, what's the point in seeing what they think? And that's why I put together 5 of these forward momentums for motivation. So, just in case you're watching this for the very first time or that somebody has shared this with you and you're thinking, who's this woman standing in a weird looking art gallery with sticky uppy hair and light, a lot of light on one side of the face? No, I'm not two-toned. The light is coming from there, and if I stood that way, you would get a view of the table with my computer and paperwork on and the kitchen. But if you've never come across me before, my name's Jenny Kovacs, and whilst I started my very corporate life in travel and then went through to financial services and became a senior manager in 2010, I started this business as a life coach that could train, consult and teach anybody anything. And between 2010 and 2012, I realised that spreading my net so wide didn't really help anyone. A, understand how they could work with me, B, understand what I could do for them, or C, understand what I was doing at all. And through a very weird twist of different life happenings and fate, I soon realised that what I actually did very well, even though I thought it was about presentation coaching, I actually found out that I help people to stand out. I help them to be visible. I help them to be seen by the people they need to be seen by, heard by the people that really love what they do, and became a visibility specialist. And I've been doing that ever since. I do that with one-man businesses. I do it with SMEs, as they might be called. I do it with very well-known brands and companies. And I also work with people on a one-to-one basis who want to fast forward their results. So every Monday here at 7 a.m. UK time, I will broadcast something to give you a bit of motivation on Monday. Thank you for the love hearts and the thumbs up that I just got then. So it shows me that you're awake and that you're listening. So without any further ado, I have got a notification on my screen. Faye says, help people to describe what they do succinctly. I do that too. I do a lot of things. And that's one of the things about being visible and standing out. If you can describe what you do quite succinctly without it needing a half an hour pitch, then people will start to gravitate towards you. Oh, and Faye's adding some more. Inspire people with the ideology that yes, they can. To be fair, I have a book in me called How to Be a Can't and Other Ways We Sabotage Our Lives. This is very true because we spend a lot of time saying that we can't. So I'm about to show you that you can, because here's the thing. The only thing that stops us is what's in between our ears. So here are 5 motivations for you. And if you like what I share, whether this is your first time or your gazillionth time, please share this with your friends, your family. I would recommend you actually share this on your timeline, because you never know who of your friends, who of your family, who of your work colleagues might need a little bit of Monday motivation. Hey, Tessa. She goes like that with her hand. I'm doing that back. So anyway, I shall carry on. So the first thing, the first momentum to help you move forward, and especially, you know, in mind, last week we had 5 days of Facebook fun in the group, the Visibility Vibe Tribe group. And oh my gosh, the videos were immense. Now, I know that on the back of that, that the Vibers have got like a fire in their belly and they want to continue bringing videos to their own audiences, to their own clients. So how, like, what's one way that they can start to do that? Now, this might seem strange, but here's the first one. Think bigger. So on Saturday even, I slipped in of my 5 days, I slipped in at a 6th day and just said, you know, what did you get from this? And it was so heartwarming to hear the things that, you know, the strides that people took, the leaps and bounds that they took. But the day before that, I actually asked them where they wanted to be in the future, at a specific time in the future. And one of the things that I found it is a great exercise to do is to think about a date in the future. Don't think of tomorrow, because it doesn't really give you a lot of time to get stuff done. But a date in the future, you know, if you're a bit short term, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, then you can go to 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. 10 years for me personally feels like, gosh, so far in the distance. So 3 years is a nice sweet spot for a kind of a long-term plan. And I would say, rather than just think about it, find a journal, a piece of paper, a crisp packet, a napkin, or something that you can write those things down on. And here's why. Because when you take them out of your head and onto your paper, you have now already started to think big. What I'd get you to do after you've written those down is think bigger. So if your ambition is to grow your business, to be happier, to go on more holidays a year, to get your videos out in front of more people. You have now got an array of things that you want to do in terms of your next step. But thinking bigger is almost like turning up the heat on it. Out of the list of things that you want to do moving forward, there'll be one of those things that you can actually start to implement now. So let me give you an example of this. Quite a few years ago, when I was working with a mentor, I'd always had in me that I wanted to give to a very specific charity as part of my business. I wanted this like philanthropic piece as part of my business. And I always thought of it in a way that, well, once the business grows to a certain level, like in income, maybe in team, maybe in reach, then I will. And I want you to delete that once something happens, then I will. Have a look at the things that you've been thinking about, moving towards, whether it's happiness, holidays, a bigger reach, and ask yourself for just one of those things, well, what could I do about that right now? And what I realised was that I can give to charity right now because, hey, if you're earning £1 a day and you can give 10 pence of that to charity, get into the habit, get into the practice of what that involves, so that when you are earning £1 million a month, then you can take maybe your 10% off that to give to your chosen charity. So start the habit now. If you want to go on holiday every year, or if you want to go on holiday 4 times a year, and you're in the stage where you're like, oh, but I want to go to far-flung places and destinations off the beaten track, do what you can now to stretch that. Think bigger. Even if it's going to another part of your town, even if it's going to another part of the country for a day trip, whatever that is, have a look at how you can really stretch that and make that bigger right now. So I've got notifications flashing up on my screen. So anyone think that they could do something with the think bigger for forward momentum? If you can, give me a thumbs up or a love heart or a face or anything else like that. There'll always be something that you can actually start to look at and do right now. Even if, remember what I said before, your circumstances, what's going on in the world, might lead you to believe that that's not an option, there's always a way through it. And when you hold that vision and think bigger than you were thinking before, then what you'll start to notice is very strange opportunities come. Somebody says to you, I know you live on the other side of the country, do you want to come and house sit and look after my dog? Or they'll say to you, oh, friends of ours are coming over to stay, I can offer you my couch, but come over. And next thing you know, you're flying internationally to go somewhere that you've wanted to go to before. Somebody says, I think you and your family, could use a holiday. Come with us and we're going to do this. You'll start to see ways of things that are possible that you hadn't seen before. So write them down and make them bigger. Blow them up and make them bigger. One of the things, I'm going to go on to the next one, but one of the things that I see people do a lot is they use their time to worry. If you're going to think about something, and thinking is a very heady process. Yes, you can feel into stuff and you can manifest stuff and magnetize things, but sometimes we use our brain to think, like to overthink, or to think of the reasons we can't, which really does allude to what Faye said before. I used to have a page on here and it was facebook.com/Jenny Make It Happen, because I knew that so many people could make it happen if they stopped thinking about what they couldn't do and started think about why they could and what they could do. So don't use that brain to worry, use it to think bigger. Okay, momentum number 2, choosing courage. Sometimes when we want to do something that we haven't done before, and I'll give you an example in a second, it can feel scary. The first time it can feel very, very scary. I remember the first time I went to a Tony Robbins event and I walked on hot coals. I didn't even know that I was going to be doing that until I got there and started signing the disclaimers. And you know what? My logical brain could have told me it's impossible. It's not possible at all. But it's such an experience. I remember the experience and going through it. I remember how I felt. Most of all, I remember how I felt afterwards. There was this feeling of, you know what? If that's possible and I actually did that, think what else is possible? So it's quite funny that now in the Vibes Tribe, we've actually got somebody that does firewalking. Can you believe that? So anyone else that's looking for that experience or thinking, well, why on earth would I do something like that? How about you push yourself to your absolute boundaries of what you think you can't do and have an actual demonstration, an actual experience of what you can too. So Faye's saying that she's never done a live on her page. So choose courage. Choose courage with that one. So if you, like Faye, have got that as something that you want to do, choose courage. The first time might seem daunting, but it only seems daunting because you've got no point of reference of what that could feel like. Hi, Rosalind, giving you a wave. It could just be when you have no point of experience of what that could feel like, you might say, well, I've done a live in my group or I've done a live somewhere else, but never on my page. You will start to think of reasons why, oh my gosh, it's going to be really difficult. But instead, choose courage. That's it. It's just a choice. Choose courage, because with everything, even things that I still do now, there's a point of courage. You know, I ran the 5 days of Facebook Fun. I had to sit down and think about what would be the best experience for the vibers and the people taking part. How could they learn in the best way? How could we do it easily? How could I not take myself too seriously and make it fun for them, make it an enjoyable experience? And even for me, there's a point where I made the graphics up, I filmed the videos. I'm thinking, should the videos be very slick with my hair done and my makeup on? Should I do them just naturally? And then there's the point of having to press the button. But did I let that stop me? No, I chose courage, because it's not about me. It's about them doing the things that they want to do. And that's what makes it so important. Anytime you find yourself doing something that you're passionate about, yet feeling like, oh my gosh, this is so scary, stop thinking about how you feel and think of the benefits for the person that you're putting that forward to. And even if you don't have your own business and you work in a corporate environment, you'll be doing something for the good of the brand, the good of the business, the good of the team, the good of the results. Think about those instead of you, and it makes choosing courage so much easier. And Tessa's saying she made a link with a TV documentary maker. Exactly. There would have been a point where Tessa would have thought, oh my gosh, although knowing Tessa, she's pretty cool and kick-ass. So, but there might have been a point where she's like, oh my gosh, should I, shouldn't I? What will they think? You know, and all of that kind of stuff. And then she went, you know what, blow it. I'm just going to do it. Or as Richard Branson says, screw it, let's do it. And by the way, Tessa, that would be a fabulous thing for you to post in the Vibes Tribe underneath the Friday celebrations, because stuff like that really inspires and motivates other people that they can do the same or similar for what they need. Okay, so number 3, momentum. Decide on your destination. You may have heard me say start with the end in mind before, and you might have been thinking to yourself, well, what does that mean? What does starting with the end in mind mean? It's like when you go on a journey, you know whether you're going to Scotland, to Manchester, to Bristol, to Cambridge, to London. Start with knowing where you're going to, and here's the easiest way to do this. Take some time, like it could be as short as 3 minutes or as long as an hour. Take some time, pen and paper, and sit and ask yourself, with the thing that you're looking to achieve, what is it you want? And it might start off that I want to or I will. And some people that do this exercise do it as if it's in the present tense. I am now, da, 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 da. And when you change it to I am now, it doesn't leave any room for, well, I hope that one day I might be courageous enough too. It really makes it into a firm plan. You know, I am now speaking on international stages. I am now inspiring people with my art. I am now helping people to show their beauty from the inside and then demonstrating through my makeup how they can look on the outside too. I am now helping people with their web services so that they have a smooth run of running their online business, something that they don't even need to think about, or their offline business. I am now guiding people through much calmer waters than they previously have lived through. This is that sort of thing. You know, I'm helping people get relationship ready, and all of a sudden they're starting to meet the person of their dreams and actually feeling excited about it. So whatever your destination is, write it write it out and like decide on the destination, because once you've made that decision, then the path to get there starts to become clearer. And by the way, if you are a person that said, I want to speak on international stages, or I just want to go out and speak more, I need to find more places to speak, after this live, just scroll down and have a look at what I posted last night. A very dear mentor of mine, and also somebody that I've got to know more personally, and I would class as a friend. I'm not going to say best buddies, but somebody that I've spent time with over a long period of time and learnt with, and have seen that they are so juicy and the real deal. So have a look down and you'll see 108 places to speak. They're not all massive stages, but they will really help you to pop. So click on the link. You'll have to put your email address in, and the 108 places to speak will get delivered to your inbox. And I have to say, I am still going through the list of some of those places in order to find different places and new places for me to spread my message of visibility. So Faye said, mind has gone blank already. Put me in front of physical people and I'm okay though. Exactly. So here's the thing, Faye. Start with your destination. What is it that you want to achieve? Because I get the whole mind going blank thing. So for example, for those of you that are looking at doing more video, you'll know that tonight at 8 p.m. UK time, I'm going to be teaching a masterclass. Now I did one on Friday, and I'll be honest with you, it was okay, but there were a few more points that I wanted to actually teach. So over the weekend, I rewrote the masterclass, so it will be completely different to Fridays. But even within that masterclass, there'll be an opportunity for those of you that are looking to take your video journey to the next level, so that you're not starting scared, not scared, how you can do that in just 12 days if you so wish. If you want to stretch it out a week at a time, that's fine by me, because you've still got access to that. And I'll tell you more about that tonight. But this is why what I do is important, you know, important for you to spread your ripples far and wide. Okay, and Rosalind says, I guess if FaceTime with family, it's doable. Your clients are the same. Absolutely, but not everybody has the same way of thinking. So that might be something that helps Rosalind pass that. But I still, you know, I know this because I work with these people day in, day out. I was once hired when somebody booked a videographer for a whole day to shoot some footage for their online course. I was once hired, and all I had to do was stand behind the camera and encourage them. And, you know, I watched this person like record their footage. They went through some amazing highs, but some amazing fear barriers as well. And, you know, it's different for everybody. So find out what's different for you. And in fact, I think I've got that. Yes, that's my next point. So very nicely led on there, Rosalind. So my next point is to be truthful with what you don't, what you think might stop you, or why you think you can't. Now this is really important. This is not something, and it's so funny, people are more likely to be truthful about what stops them or why they can't with complete strangers, you know, with you know, people around them, than they are with themselves. And it's just about being truthful to yourself. You know, for those people that did the video game last week, they're like, one of the biggest things that actually came out of that wasn't confidence, it was consistency. People wanted consistency. And how I got started with this, I had to be truthful to myself. Like, what could stop me from being consistent on video out there to my, you know, to my group? And I had to kind of play it and find out what it was. I thought, well, if I announce that I'm going to do a video once a day, every day, then I've now announced it to people, so I have to make it happen. That's a very ninja way of being accountable, but actually very hardcore. So I found other ways to do that. I looked at what might stop me. I might not have time. So I thought, well, if I don't have time, let me look right here, right now, and see which times of days for the next 5 days I can plug in the time to do a video. And let's face it, if you're doing a 5-minute video, all you need is 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes, so that you can work out what you want to talk about and then go for it. It could be that I can't do video because I don't know what to talk about. Then there might be somebody that can help you. There might be somebody that you can bounce those ideas off that has a similar vision to you. So be truthful with what might stop you. Once you're truthful with what might stop you, then you can start to see the gaps that you have and start to plug any holes that you have, whether it's on your part since study, whether it's taking advice, it could be working with somebody, it could be leaning into a group, it could be just doing it anyway. Completely up to you, but be truthful with yourself with what might stop you, because then you've got a way of seeing what's happening, having that in front of your face and doing something with it. And then the fifth one is a really important one. Take supportive passengers. You would have heard people saying that life's a journey. So I've got notifications come up in front of my face. I like to be able to see you properly. You might, you know, life is a journey. If life is a journey, you can do it by yourself or you can do it with other people that have your back too, other people who support you, other people that will you on, other people that get the journey. And sometimes, and this was the hardest thing for me to learn in the first few years of my business, sometimes those people aren't necessarily your family and friends. Now let me tell you why. When you go through the terrors and they see you at the choose some courage stage, oh my gosh, I can't do X thing, I'm really scared. They'll be like, well, don't do it, don't do it. Because they love you and they support you and they don't want you to be scared. They don't want you to be anxious. So they might not be the best passengers to take along the journey. This was the single reason that I started the Visibility Vibes Tribe, because I wanted people to be in a community of other people that had similar dreams, goals, desires and visions. And the one thing that the people in there have in common is that they want to be more visible. Now, we've got a mixture of people in there. We've got the extroverted people in there. We've got the introverted people in there that don't really come out and play, but they observe. We've got people that might lurk in there because they're not sure of how it all works. We've got people that might look in there and go, you know what, my business is a baby business and I need to get more momentum. But then they're inspired by what people are posting when they've said, you know what, I was really worried about doing this thing and now I'm not. So take passengers on your journey that are supportive. This is so, so important. It's the same as surround yourself with the people that are going to support you. And in my own journey, I found that sometimes those people have started out as complete strangers and ended up feeling like family. So make sure that if you're going to go on this journey, take people that really support your dreams and your desires. And if you find that you're speaking to family members or friends that are saying, how's the business going? Oh, well, you know what, in a recession, oh, you're brave, you shouldn't have done that. Then thank them and stop talking to them about your dreams and desires. Because when you do that and somebody taps into something that you've already thought about a gazillion times, like when you run in a business, you haven't thought about where's the next person coming from, or gosh, you know, what about my cash flow? Like you haven't thought about that already. You don't need somebody that's going to be shouting that in your ear, and before you know it, you're going to be taking on what they believe to be true, not what you believe to be true. And that can start a horrible feeling downward spiral. Whereas when, hey, morning Carol, when you're in that group of people, like I call it leaning in. I'm going to be completely honest and transparent with you because I think it's helpful. You know, I myself are in a mastermind which is based in the US, and there's some people from the UK that are in there as well. But predominantly, the people that I'm connecting with are in the US, and some of them in various parts of Europe. And there was a situation that I went through really recently that scared me, but I knew by doing some of this stuff that I had to work through it. I had to choose courage. I had to think bigger. I needed to decide on what I wanted. And when I decided on what I wanted, I started to feel feelings of shame. Like, who am I to do that? You know, gosh, you know, this has happened before. And if that happened and that didn't go very well, then it's likely that this could follow suit. And before I knew it, I started to kind of shrink back and shrink down. And then I just thought, you know what? This is the very time, although it feels counterintuitive, that I have to lean in. But you can only lean in and lean into those people that support you, the supportive people that support you on your journey when they support you. And that's what I found. And literally within days, like in under a week, I just lent in anyway. And even though I felt like, oh, you know, no one that I know has done this before, no one in my circle of friends has done this before, people haven't achieved this thing, this is something new to me, I lent in, I went into the community, I made sure I was there every single day, multiple times a day. You know, when I'm watching someone's video and then it goes to crazy cats, or in my case, I'm a bit partial to elephants of late, very cute elephant videos it seems. But rather than spending hours watching those, I would lean into the group. Rather than maybe going in to look and see what that person has achieved in that particular Facebook group, I would choose to go into the Facebook group, I would lean in. When I was feeling worried, I would say, I'm just going to put it out